And Newcastle welcome Wolves to St James's Park later on today, and the pressure is mounting on Eddie Howe as his side are looking for their first home win since mid-December. The Magpies gaffer was speaking yesterday, comparing this season to last.
We've been challenged a lot through this season. Nothing's come easy to us. We've had to grind our way to get everything that we have to this point. And maybe in hindsight now, looking back, it was slightly different the year before, where everything seemed to go our way. But I think in some senses you can help create that internally. You can help create that good luck by your work you do. You don't have no control over the cup draws and who you play. But I believe in the qualities that we have. And if we're going to be, in the end, part of cup competitions, elite competitions, you're always going to be playing good teams. So I think we have to get used to that.
Yeah, it's been a difficult season for Newcastle, and we were speaking about it earlier on about injuries, Cass, and you rightly pointed out Newcastle have had a hefty injury list. And going back onto that stat that I mentioned earlier on about days lost to injuries, which doesn't include suspensions and disciplinary reasons, it's merely injuries alone. Newcastle have lost the most days, if you like, to injuries. They've had 29 injuries, which again is the most of any side in the Premier League this time around, and that has cost them 1,333 days, which is a hefty amount to have lost out on. Does that, in a way, kind of give Eddie Howe a bit of a leeway in terms of how this season has gone, and that the owners might be considering, look, he's had a very tough time injury-wise. We can't really make any change for next season?
Well, he's lost his keeper and he's lost his back four. You know, you talked earlier about Brentford losing a certain department of your team. They suffered. Do you know they've conceded one less goal away from home than Sheffield United? Right. They've conceded 29 away from home, and Sheffield United conceded 30. That tells you where they've suffered. They have got a decent back four. You get their back four together when it's Trippier and it's Dan Burn on the left, or even Livramento can come in. You got Shah, you got Botman, got a good goalkeeper in Pope. That's affected Newcastle enormously. Oh, look, they were so close to getting through in the Champions League. They, everything's been a close call for them in recent months, and I just think they've slightly been on the wrong end. I think Eddie Howe's got to be given the right to carry on and not have this speculation around him. And okay, midweek was a big game for them. They got through, and it was via penalties against Blackburn. But it's a big week for him, and they've got a horrendous draw, haven't they? Man City.
Yeah, not the easiest.
So it's a real tough one away from home in the cup. It feels like. I think Newcastle fans, and I don't even believe Newcastle fans are against Eddie. I think the majority of them feel like it's been a really great time. It's been a great time to be a Newcastle supporter. It's changed a lot from the team that were battling survival in the Premier League. They're a long way from that now.
Oh, absolutely. And goodness me, what he did, how he saved them and went on that incredible run as they did. And
the Arsenal defeat was a big one, wasn't it? Because they got blown away. Arsenal ripped them to pieces. Now, Arsenal on a good day can do that. They're a good side. We know that. That's why they're at the top of the league. Arteta's built a really good side at Arsenal. And if you come up against them like Newcastle did, they just took them apart now.
Then again, Newcastle on their day, when they have their fully fit squad, we've seen how they can likewise rip apart sides.
Yeah.
So yes, injuries have been a big issue for Eddie Howe this season. And they're taking on a Wolves side who, as I mentioned as well, have had the least amount of days missed with regards to injuries. Gary O'Neill obviously continues to impress with what he's done with his Wolves side. And I was telling you obviously earlier on, I was at this event yesterday. There was a number of Wolves fans there, and a lot of them are sort of pinching themselves because not many of them expected them to be so high up in the league, to have done so well so quickly under Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, they're one place higher than Newcastle. They are doing well.
But the difference is that Gary O'Neill only had 5 days or so to prepare his Wolves side for the start of the season. They were tipped by many to be a relegation candidate, in part because of the way Julian Lopetegui left and the way he kind of left by saying, look, there's no money here and we can't do anything with this squad.
Yeah. And fair play to Gary O'Neill and his team, his backroom staff, and I think where you can give him enormous praise is of how they play as well. Yeah. They break incredible pace. And look, they are blessed with some good players. Cunha's got loads of pace. I know he's injured at the moment, blessed with loads of pace. Neto, blessed with loads and loads of pace. I think a real settled centre-half partnership in Kilman and Dawson, that helps as well. Hwang's had a really good season in considering he's not really a natural centre-forward. And again, I think he's injured at the moment as well, hasn't he? He's got a knock as well. So they're affected slightly. But of course he's done brilliant. But I think the way they've played as well, it's been a shining light to teams where they've had to rebuild a midfield because they lost big players. Moutinho, Neves left. You know, so fair play. Yeah, they've done brilliantly well. They've been anything but relegation fodder for everybody. They've been superb. But the win at Tottenham, they absolutely deserved it. They were the better team by quite a long way.
Yeah, they've won 11 games this season in the Premier League, which is as many as they managed in the entirety of last season, which I guess underlines the progress perhaps they've made under Gary O'Neill. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff at St James's Park. Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. And our reporters up and down the land will keep you right up to date with that one and all of the 3 o'clock kickoffs.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.